All right, welcome back to the Excellent Choice Global Leadership Series. I'm Patrick Williams, your host, here today with Johnny J.R. Reed, CEO, founder of Excellent Choice Global. We have reached the conclusion of our Cliff Notes version of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. JR, it's been fun, informative, and I really can't wait to get back in the book after doing this little exercise with you.
Well, I've read the book 27 times now, and every time I pick it up, it's like I don't remember half the stuff I'm reading. It's just an incredibly amazing tool and keep you kind of grounded on what's the important things.
All right, so we're going to discuss in our final segment the 6 ghosts of fear and find out how many ghosts are standing in your way. The 6 basic fears: fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love of someone, fear of old age, and the fear of death. JR, we're going to get right into the most powerful one and also the most destructive fear, and it's the fear of poverty.
Yeah, when you take a look at the book, Patrick, there's 200 pages on those first chapters that we discussed in all the prior segments. And this is the last chapter, which is about 30 pages of why people don't become successful. So Napoleon wrote 200 pages on how to become successful, and these 6 ghosts of fear is what stops everybody. Now, the reality is the fear of poverty is the most destructive, and of course the fear of death is also one that stops people in their tracks. But we're talking about a business opportunity. So when we get into these, we're going to highlight just the 2 main ones that really stop people from becoming successful in a home-based business. Now, the fear of poverty is a state of mind, nothing else, but is sufficient to destroy one's chances of achievement in any undertaking. Patrick, I used to read this next paragraph after every one of the seminars I ever gave when I had my own seminar company, and I think it's worth repeating again. It says, "This fear paralyzes the faculty of reason, destroys the faculty of imagination, kills off self-reliance, undermines enthusiasm, discourages initiative, leads to uncertainty of purpose, encourages procrastination, wipes out enthusiasm, and makes self-control an impossibility. It takes the charm from one's personality, destroys the possibility of accurate thinking, diverts concentration of effort. It masters persistence. It turns willpower into nothingness, destroys ambition, beclouds the memory, and invites failure in every conceivable form. It kills love and assassinates the finer emotions of the heart. It discourages friendship and invites disaster in 100 forms. It leads to sleeplessness, misery, and unhappiness. And all this despite the obvious truth that we live in a world of overabundance of everything the heart could desire, with nothing standing between us and our desires except lack of definite purpose. The fear of poverty is, without a doubt, the most destructive of the 6 basic fears."
JR, the second most destructive fear in home-based business is the fear of criticism. Now, just how man originally came by this fear, no one can state definitely, but one thing is certain: he has it in a highly developed form. Now, men and women have burned at the stake for daring to express disbelief in ghosts. It's no wonder we have inherited a consciousness which makes us fear criticism. The time was, and not so far in the past, when criticism carried severe punishments. It still does in some countries. The fear of criticism robs a man of his initiative, destroys his power of imagination, limits his individuality, takes away his self-reliance, and does him damage in 100 other ways.
It's still true in Thailand. My second home is, if you say anything bad about the king, you're going to jail. Don't pass go, don't collect $200, they're going to throw you in. And of course, in home-based business, because the evolution of home-based business has been dramatic over the last couple decades, a lot of people still remembering back when people were victims. I remember my first company, they were selling anywhere from a couple $100,000 to $100,000 worth of merchandise, and people were stacking their garage and kitchen cabinets. And so a lot of people are a little nervous when they hear about the home-based business world because they've got that in their mind. They think it's not a viable business. And there are some bad businesses that are out there, But if you truly understand the nature of home-based business now, Patrick, as it exists, with nearly 100 million people participating, with over 178 billion in retail sales, and it always grows every year, and then understand that it's a great way to have a business because you're not having to buy the building and rent the furniture and hire employees and have all the infrastructure costs, and it doesn't own you, you own it. But people are fearful of what people will say. And that's just because they haven't made up their own mind or they haven't got the right facts.
All right, now let's take a look at the disaster of destructing thinking. The vibrations of fear pass from one mind to another just as quickly, as surely as the sound of the human voice passes from the broadcasting station to the receiving set of a radio.
Now, you can tell there were no cell phones back in the day or the internet. But, that was the basic form of communication. So the symptoms of fear of poverty is indifference, indecision, doubt, worry, overcaution, and procrastination. Now, the symptoms of the fear of criticism is self-consciousness, lack of poise, personality, inferior complex, extravagance, which is part of the fake it till you make it, which I can't stand. That's my own personal preference. And, of course, the lack of initiative and the lack of ambition.
JR, the one thing over which you have complete control, I'm going to let you take this one because this is the championship moment right here.
Yeah, remember, we talked about a lot of wonderful things, but you have the absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thoughts, right? That God gave you free will. This is the most significant and inspiring of all facts known to man. But if you fail to control your own mind, you may be sure that you will control nothing else. Now, in parting, I will remind you that life is a checkerboard, and the player opposite you is time. If you hesitate before moving, or neglect to move promptly, your men will be wiped off the board by time. You're playing against a partner who will not tolerate indecision. Now, previously, you may have had the logical excuse for not having forced life to come through with whatever you ask. But that alibi is now obsolete because you are in possession of the master key that unlocks the door to life's riches. Patrick, I want to say thanks for assisting me here. This little overview of the Think and Grow Rich book. It is truly a book that can change your life, but I see it all the time. People say, wow, this is a business opportunity. This is great. Oh, but I got to read a book? Oh, I think I'll pass. And that just kills me considering how much general knowledge that people go through the first through 12th grades. And then people do continuing education, go to college, and then they get additional degrees, which is all wonderful. But this one particular book has the keys to becoming truly successful in any part of your life. So it's not just about business. It's about controlling your thoughts, deciding what you want to do, and then going after your dreams. And that's what we're all about here in Excellent Choice. We want people to make excellent decisions. We want their life to be better each and every day. And when you join the ranks of home-based business, there's really only two alternatives once you start. You either get better or you get bitter. That was the advice to me from someone who was one of the original co-founders of a multi-billion-dollar company who helped shape my mind with the 4+ years I spent with him. So I would like to encourage the people to actually not only read the book, but actually do the exercises. What I like to say to a lot of people is, what do you got to lose? The book's a couple bucks. Take 15 minutes to a half hour a day out of your life and read through and stimulate your mind in a constructive, positive way. And then finally, closing here, Patrick, I know that you and Nancy are very excited about your future. I think you guys possess all the key elements of great leadership. You guys have the right mindset. You're determined. You're focused. You've made sacrifices. You've made a commitment. And I look forward to a very long and prosperous relationship with you and your wife, Nancy.
All right, great stuff, JR. Thanks for being the brainchild behind this Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich Excellent Choice Leadership Series. This will not be our last leadership series. There's some more nuggets to come. So for JR, I'm Patrick Williams. Let's continue as a company to think and grow rich.